Welcome
Yeah,
to Hope Shot. I'm Sonia, and I am so glad that you can join me today. Today, I have a really good friend of mine, Corey, who is going to tell his story. Thank you so much for joining, Corey.
thank you, Sonia. I'm honored. Like I said before, I'm happy. I'm excited. It's gonna be awesome.
Awesome. Okay, so let's just start from the beginning. Let's get right into it. So, tell me
Okay.
a little bit about who you were when you were little. Tell me a little about your childhood.
Okay. So like before we start anything, I just want to apologize because I had since my accident, which I'll get into later, my memory's kind of a little bit fady. So like if I go in and out of stuff, that's why. Okay. Um, but my childhood, it was normal. Like I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Um, we lived, right outside the city. So, my mom and dad, they worked and you know, growing up, like school wasn't a problem, you know what I mean? Friends weren't a problem. I was social. I played sports, you know what I mean, like any little kid. I'm just an average, you know what I mean, like an average home. Like it was just an average, it wasn't like too upper class, but we weren't like street level, you know what I mean? So, um, but as far as I remember, like it was always we really didn't get like everything we wanted, but my mom always made sure we had what we needed. You know what I mean? So like, it wasn't like spoiled, but at the same time, I wasn't like necessarily struggling. You know, so I
Right.
think that's important. You know what I mean? Like as a child, when like my kids now, I make sure that they have what they need. You know what I mean? Same thing. It's I don't know. To me, that's important. Yeah, growing up, with the sports, like I said, I played. I got into baseball, and then I got into hockey. And I loved it. That was like my first, like all obsessed with it. You know what I mean? Like everything, put everything out there. You know what I mean? So I used to do that 3, 4 times a week. You know what I mean? We used to get onto the ice rink down there, and it was in a place called Bethel Park, and we used to do I forget the name of the place, but it was like it was like just like a minor league, you know what I mean? Like we'd do like games every Saturday, and then practice would be like Monday and Wednesdays type deal. So stuff like that, you know what I mean?
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
let me ask you a question. So I was reading a little bit of your story the other day that you made a post on Facebook. So did you used to rap?
Yes, I did. Okay, and don't laugh. Okay, I used to think I was gonna be the next superstar, honestly, but it's weird. Like my love for music has always been there since I was little. Like that was always my go-to. You know what I mean? It was always my okay. When something's wrong, put on music and it just zone out. You know. I started getting into the music in like seventh, eighth grade. I started. That's when I started. We started on me and my friend. It's Bone Thugs and Harmony. Remember them?
Heck
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, Bone Thugs and Harmony was the platform, like set up everything. You know what I mean? Because me and my friend Smitty, we'd go around reciting the verses. You know what I mean of them. So that grew to me meeting someone online. He lives in Colorado, and he recorded. And he came. He actually flew up here, up to Pittsburgh, and he bought me all my recording stuff. He bought me Pro Tools, the mic, everything. So we started getting serious around like say 10th grade. You know what I mean? Sophomore year, I'd say.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, it just we you know what I mean we made I made a video. It's online, and it was awesome. My uncle did it. You know what I mean? Because he does that music stuff, video stuff. So it was awesome. It was great, but you know safe to say, no, I'm not the next Eminem. I mean, I'm just, I thought I would be, but that quickly turned.
Right. Well, tell me about that a little bit. So I know you moved from Pittsburgh down here to Sarasota. Why did you want to move?
I didn't want to at all. That was not my plan. It was more my parents at the time. I know my mom was offered a job down here, and my dad, his brother, he had two brothers that committed suicide and died, and I think one of them lived down here, so he's always wanted to come to Sarasota. That was always like a big thing for him. So they just they decided it was like random. You know what I mean? Like on the moment, like let's go to Sarasota. My mom's sister Judy was actually down here, and she lived. We ended up moving like 5 houses down from her. So it was. I mean, it was like a random thing, but it was cool. You know what I mean? I was excited until I got to school. You know, the freshman year was horrible.
Hmm.
Year got better, but then I ended up moving. So
Right. Yeah, freshman year was pretty bad for me too.
yeah, especially like going from up north, like to where I was in school up there. The classes were, you know, the whole school was like my class, my freshman class down here. You know what I mean? Like huge. So, and it was an outdoor campus. Of course, I'm not used to that either. So, you know, it was all just, it was crazy.
Yeah, same. I can relate to that a lot. So tell
Yeah.
me, like, when did you first get into using drugs or drinking? Like, what was that like for you?
Um, it was after I started. It was senior year, I
Mhm.
think. Man, it was like I said, I mentioned it was I think it was right around the prom season, like right around there, because I was at my girlfriend's house at the time, her grandparents' house, and her uncles were there, and they were drinking and stuff, and it was like a couple nights before prom or whatever, and they're like, "Hey, you want one?" And I think in my head, like I was saying no, but I already had it in my hand. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, you know what I mean? Not thinking. So I did that, and then I took a shot. I remember taking the first shot and being like, "Oh, am I supposed to feel? You know what I mean? Am I gonna feel anything?" And they're like, "Yeah, here's another one." So I like three more. You know what I mean? And then I stand up. 20 minutes later, I stand up, and I'm all dizzy. But I remember the feeling, and I remember like right then and there, I knew like that feeling. I loved it. You know what I mean? Like it was all new to me, but I fell in love. Like that was my new. Okay, this is it right here. You know.
Yes.
I just remember that being the big thing for me.
Yeah, same. Like I remember very, very specifically the first time that I tried cocaine. I remember everything exactly where I was at, the way that it smelled, the people that I was with, and the feeling that I had. It was like I
Yeah.
had fallen in love and I never wanted to stop. Like immediately I knew. Yeah.
Right.
So tell me, how did that progress over the years, or went from alcohol to drugs? Like what happened with that?
Okay, so the alcohol after that night kind of like took off. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And, what happened was I ended up moving again from Pittsburgh down here. I was back and forth all over the place. Yeah, and then the drinking started from like, you know, oh, it's a weekend thing to, oh, okay, well, you know, maybe when I get off work because I have off tomorrow during the week, you know what I mean? And then it became like an everyday thing, you know, every single day. Um, I worked at the YMCA for down here, um, with the kids. You know what I mean? I do after school program, after school sports and stuff.
Wow.
So yeah, I love that job. And I remember I would never drink before I went with the kids. It was always right after. But I remember I can't wait till I get off. Can't wait till I get off. You know what I mean? Just to get that first shot. And then um, my baby mom, Chelsea, she moved down here. What was it, about almost a year after I came down the last time, and she started working at Beef O'Brady's, and that's when she got introduced to Percocet,
Mhm.
and that was the next level. You know what I mean? Like that was like the step up. That's when things really started getting out of control. You know, from that first pill to it wasn't we didn't drink anymore. It became just pills. You know what I mean? That was all I was worried about. So yeah, kind of went from there on. You know.
Yeah, same. Like I get that. Was that during like the pill mill days when pills were like readily available to everybody?
Yeah, all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy because like now I don't know, like I don't remember, but like I don't believe like they're that easy anymore. You know what I mean? Like I feel like they're harder to get now, which I wish I was earlier, but I mean it still might not change anything, but still, you know.
Right. Yeah, no, that's true. Like they are super hard to get now. And
Yeah,
I was watching yesterday, I seen an advertisement, right? Like an old school advertisement for Oxycontin. And like the
yeah.
way that you just used to like use the media to like sell it to us, like it's easy to get off
Mhm.
of, it's easy to cure pain, but they didn't tell us that later it's going to get us all hooked on heroin, you know?
If you had told me that, like, I would have laughed. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, yeah, that's me. No, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah, here I am. So,
Yes. Okay, so tell me, so you started using pills. Like, when did you realize that it was a problem? And like, have you been to rehabs before, or what did you try to do about it?
well, I'm trying to think. Okay, the first time I knew it was a problem was when I started stealing for it. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Like when I knew, um, when I woke up in the morning and I didn't have anything, and I knew I had to go get it. You know what I mean? And I would do anything. Almost. To an extent. Um, I knew that was an issue right then and there. I knew it was going to be a problem. But with Chelsea working down here at Beefs, she was a server, so the money was so quick.
mm-hmm,
Um, she don't mind me telling you this, but she got caught, but she was stealing from Beef O'Brady's at the time. And then we had it set up to where a certain time where she would call me, I'd come pick up the money, go get stuff, bring it back to her, and then go home. You know what I mean? And
mm-hmm,
that was for a good 6 months, 8 months. You know what I mean? Straight. So she eventually got caught doing that. But the bigger picture, you know what I mean? It was just it got to the point where it's so easily available and so ready. You know what I mean? Every day was like set, you know what I mean? So it was just too easy,
mm-hmm,
and then and there that was going to be because my mom, she was actually involved, like not involved, but like she would do them with us.
mm-hmm.
So if Kelsey was out of money, it would be like, oh, let's go to mom. She'll give me money for him. You know what I mean? So it was just right there all the time. You know,
Right.
yeah. So it just became that was every day. You know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it
well, eventually at some point in time, well, I know this is my story, right? So I'm guessing because we probably did the pills around the same era in time,
yeah,
right?
right.
Eventually pills were not available anymore. And then
Mhm.
like there was this switch, like where heroin started to become available, and then the heroin turned into fentanyl. Like, did you experience that too?
I want to say no, but I'm gonna say yeah. Like I've never actually physically said like, hey, let's go buy a bag of Fetty. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I've never said that, but I knew. But the heroin I was doing, it was mixed in with it. So you know what
Mhm.
I mean.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely. That's the thing. Like, nobody ever thinks that they're just going to go buy fentanyl, right? Like, it's always, you always say, like, I don't know. I think maybe they do because I've heard people say this like recently since I've been clean that they're going to get fentanyl. But when I was
mhm,
doing it, like, everybody thought they were buying heroin, but it was not heroin. Like, it was
mhm,
all fentanyl. Like, and they would disguise it to make it look like it was heroin, turn it brown or whatever. But it was all
yeah.
fentanyl. Like there was this switch. Like I remember being able to tell by the way that I felt that it wasn't
Oh,
the same
absolutely.
shit that I had been doing, you know?
Yep, 100%. It's like in the two are night and day. You know what I mean? Like you
Mhm.
said, you could how the way you felt was the difference. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
but it was scary. Like I remember, I got a blue one time, and I did it after doing it. It's exactly like you said. I did it, and I was like, holy shit, this ain't. You know what I mean? This was not a blue, and you know what I mean. I was completely. I actually ended up going to Walmart with Chelsea, and I was so out of it. You know what I mean? I had no idea what was going on, what I was doing. I don't remember the whole thing. Chelsea's like, "Do you remember going?" I'm like, "No, nothing."
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy, but I was scared then because I thought it was a blue. You know what I mean? I'm thinking it was
Mhm.
oxy. No, it was
Right.
press. You know,
Yeah, you're lucky you lived through that because like there's a lot of people that do not live through pressed pills. Like that is a thing these days.
right?
Yeah.
Huge. I can't.
Yeah. So tell me about like when did you first decide that like you had a problem and you needed or had maybe you didn't want to do something about it. When did you first get forced into or want to do something about your problem?
Okay, so it was when I live with my parents down here in Sarasota, in Northport, actually.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, my dad, he's in the program, so and he has some years, and he was talking to his sponsor up in Pittsburgh, and he finally sat me down and was like, "Hey, listen, it's time. You know what I mean? Like you got to go." At this point, Chelsea was in jail. She got locked up for the Beef O'Brady's thing. So
Sure.
I was like, they sat me down. I was like, look, Chelsea's doing this. You're gonna do this. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
this. So I agreed to it, and I actually went to First Step in Sarasota up there in Sarasota. So I did that. Got out. I did the I think they have don't they have like aftercare, like you go to meetings there, or like the place there. Okay, so yeah, I did that, and I remember the second or third week there, I was getting high already before going. So
Right.
it didn't last long. I don't know why. Just I don't know. Like I felt great. You know, I did the 28-day. I don't know if it was in Sarasota or down here, but I felt great. And then I get out and it's like, well, Chelsea's still locked up. You know what I mean? My mom's drinking right in front of me every day, which isn't her fault. She does what she does, but I see that, you know what I mean? My dad always tells me, you're around it every day. It's right in front of you. It's gonna get in your head. You know what I mean? Like without a doubt. No,
Yeah.
there's no explanation. It just happens.
Mhm.
So not blaming her in any way. It's just it was there. You know what I mean? And yeah, it didn't last. You know what I mean? Mainly because I didn't want to. You know what I mean? Deep down, I did not want to. You know,
Mhm.
it just things. Um, it took. I think it was like I don't know how many months after that I did OD. I got into the heroin and I overdosed. Thank God my kids were sleeping. Um, but my mom was still awake and she heard me. I fell into the shower and fell in the bathtub. Like I tipped over that way, you know what I mean? Hit the floor and everything. So the door was locked. She busted in the door, called the ambulance, and that was a wake up call. You know what I mean? That slowed me down for a long time. Well, I
Right.
say a long time, meaning like less than a year, but you know, to me that's like it was only, you know what I mean, a while. So
Yeah, that is a while, especially for like an addict who's used to using every day. Like a year is a while. And I can relate to what you were saying a minute ago because I was talking to somebody about this earlier today. Like somebody asked me, like, did I relapse a lot of times before I got it right this time? And
mhm.
like I did like, pick up a lot of white key tags previous, but I never in my mind was ready to quit. You know what I'm saying? Like I did it to manipulate my parents into thinking that I wanted to quit, or I did it for like the Department of Children and Families, but like I never really did it because I wanted to do it because I really wasn't done, you know?
Yep. Like deep down, you know, you have that feeling. You know what I mean? That's telling you like you're not done yet. Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for
Got
sure.
it. That's
Okay,
fun.
so tell me about like when was the beginning of the end for you? Like when did you finally meet your bitter ends? What happened?
Um. Okay, so I can't explain it in detail because I don't remember, but what was told. I'll just tell you what I was. Well, I was on my way home from work. Um, I was up in Bradenton. I was doing construction, and I guess I was on my way home, and I had a heart attack up there on my way home from work, and sorry, excuse me. They said, I don't know, I forget. I was dead. I was laying there for 16 minutes. I was dead, and I guess some guy seen me, was driving down the road and seen me, and called the cops, the ambulance, and they came and they took me to the hospital. But it's hard because I can't. I wish I wanted to tell you in detail, but like I was told that I was laying there. He picked me up, you know, called the ambulance. They came. They took me to the hospital, and I was in a coma for a month after that. So when I woke up, I didn't know what was going on, you know, where I was. I didn't know, you know, like I said, the memory, I didn't, you know, really, I was lucky enough, thank God, that I knew my mom, you know, my family, you know what I mean, like people that were there. But right then and there, as soon as I woke up, I knew. Um, Thinking about it now, you know, I'm blessed. Like I feel blessed in a way. You know what I mean? Because I don't remember. I don't have anything to look back on, like relate to. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, that was good. Let me do that. You know what I mean? Because I don't know.
Mhm.
Which which is awesome. You know what I mean? I've talked to my dad about this a million times, and he says the same thing. He's like God reset your mind. You know what I mean? Like he just reset it for you. Just take it and run. You know what I mean? Do what you can. And
Mhm.
at that time when he said it, the way it wasn't the normal, like, okay, dad, yeah, yeah, whatever. I was feeling what he was saying. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to explain. Like, what he was saying, like, I could literally relate, like, feel it. You know what I mean? So I knew right then and there, I just, it wasn't it no more. You know what I mean? And not just because I don't remember what it feels like or doing it. It's just like that urge is gone. You know what I mean? That getting up and, oh, let's go find something. That's not there. It's not there anymore.
Like
And
the
I
taste
think,
has been removed from your mouth, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, literally, it's just done. So I still to this, like, I still, it's funny because I want to call that guy, who stopped and called the ambulance, but I've been sliding to my mom. She said she called the hospital or whatever, but I want to thank him. But it's mainly just, I don't know. I just see it for what it is. Like, I was set here and I'm set now, and like I'm talking to you and doing this. It's awesome. You know what I mean? I never would have did this before. This.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
So
well, I can tell you from what I've seen, right? Because we've known each other for a couple of years now, and I remember when this happened, like you just went like nobody knew where you were or what had happened, you know? And then like seeing the pictures of you in the hospital and like your transformation, and what I see is that like your spirit has like awakened, you know what I mean? And like you're happy and you feel blessed to be alive. And in my opinion, like you're here for a reason, my friend, because
yeah,
from what you've been through, like, you shouldn't be here after what you went through, but you made it, and
right.
now I get to watch you like experiencing these joys of life and like truly being grateful for those things that like maybe we had before, but we took advantage of because, we
All
didn't
of it.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Yep. And I think, like you said a key right there, like appreciate, what I mean, what you have and are truly grateful. You know what I mean? Like before, I would say that, but I would say it just to look good. You know what I mean? It was a lot of things just to make it look like fancy. You know what I mean? But now I say it. I don't care who likes it, who doesn't, who says it. I'm not. I am. I just say it because I am. You know what I mean? Just simply that. It's not for show. It's not for, oh, let me look good for her, or nothing. I just
Right.
am. And I think that's key. I think what you said. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Mhm.
Tell me about your life today. Like, how are things today? Like, I know you said you had a child with Chelsea. Like, how is your relationship with your kids and I mean, Chelsea, I don't know where she's at today, but
Chelsea, she's doing awesome. She has like 4 or 5 years. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't remember. Some of the it doesn't matter, but she's in recovery down here in the program. Um, she's really involved. You know what I mean? And I think that's awesome. I look up to her like my father. You know what I mean? And I just because she was with me at the time of using, and then I look to her now, and she's so far up. You know what I mean? Like doing well, and
hmm
she's done the work, and you and anyone else. You know what I mean? It's just moving on. She's moving on up, and she doesn't show it. You just notice it. You know what I mean? It's one of them. So it's like my father. So with her, I'm blessed that she's in the program because she takes Bentley, our son, to meetings. She takes him. He knows about everything, and I think it's great. It's just all around good. You know what I mean? Like I was saying, Bentley's fully involved with with her and me, and he knows everything. And I think that's great. You know what I mean? I think the kid should know. To an extent. Um, as far as like him going to meetings and just listening, because I remember I was with my dad when he first. Oh, sorry. When he first got clean, I was in sixth grade, so I remember going to meetings and him sharing, and remember listening to the people, you know what I mean, and what they were saying. And that kind of brought back, when I was getting clean, I still remember, you know what I mean? Like I know these people, what they're saying, I relate to it. So in a sense, I kind of, it's good that B's doing that, like I did.
yeah,
I
I
look at it
agree.
like that.
My kids know all about it. Like they got to experience like the dark side of our addiction. So they
Yeah.
are going to experience our recovery as well,
And I think it's great. You know what I mean? Bentley doesn't mind, you know what I mean? He goes and he knows everyone. He's more popular at the meetings than anyone, you know what I mean? Like, what's his big, you know, all that. So it's great though.
Yeah, that's
Um,
cool.
what I was gonna say, my youngest, Camden,
Hmm.
um, he just turned 7. He's with my father up in Pittsburgh.
Hmm.
So I keep in contact with him, 4 or 5 times a week. You know what I mean? Almost every day, pretty much. I just talk to him. He has legal custody of him right now. Until I get what I have going on. You know what I mean? Until I move up. You know what I mean? Which
Right.
is I'm perfectly okay with. His mother, unfortunately, she's still using. You know what I mean? She's still running around. So, it's kind of up to me. You know what I mean? And for him, it's up to me. I have to do this. I have to do this for his sake. You know what I mean? Because it's not his. Why should it be his fault that he's stuck up there and he's confused? Like, why is daddy down there? Why is mommy over there? You know what I mean? It's
Right.
it's not his fault. It's mine. So I need to do it.
Yeah. Well, you're blessed in a way though, because I had the same thing with my kids, right? Like my mom had my kids when I was in my addiction and after I got clean. And
Right.
so at least he's with family and you're
Mhm.
working on yourself right now. Like that's really like the most selfless thing that you can do for your children is to take that time to work on yourself. And they're with your dad, and you have a relationship with them today. So that's good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to.
No, it's okay.
I was just gonna say, yeah, like he's up there with him. Like he's doing really good in school. You know what I mean? He lives in a great neighborhood. He has his friends. You know what I mean? So I can't. It just the only part that sucks is knowing like, let's say this all does pan out and play out good, right? Which I'm hoping. It's getting him back. Like I don't. I'm not. I see. I don't worry about this because I'm not there yet. But in a sense, it makes me wonder. Like, do I want to pull him from up there and everything he knows now and bring him back down here? Like, you know what I mean? That crosses my mind. Like what happens then? But
Hmm. I
I don't
get
know.
that.
You know.
Yeah, I totally understand that. And that's like a real concern. And I think that's really cool that you do think about that because that means you're putting his needs before your own needs?
Yes,
Yeah.
have to. Just
Hmm.
for once, for a change.
Right. Okay, so tell me, okay, so if there's somebody out there, right, that relates to your story, maybe they're in their addiction, maybe they're new in recovery, maybe they've been through some of the things that you've been through, like what advice do you have for that person who's still in the dark right now and searching for hope?
Um, like the first thing that comes to my mind is, you know, see, I don't know. I hate, like, I don't want to sound like the people, like, at the meetings, like, preaching, you know what I mean? So it's hard. Like, I'm trying to say it like, when you're there and in the meeting or you're in the program, stick to it no matter what. You know what I mean? Like, I know it sucks. I know it may seem like, oh, this is bullshit. This isn't gonna work. Just stick to it. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do or how you do it. Just know that the outcome, the bigger picture, it's so worth it.
Yeah.
Everything that people say and do. Oh, this will happen, or you'll get this, or you do that. It does. You know what I mean? In a sense.
Mhm.
So I can only say that in the bigger picture, it's worth the work. That's the
Mhm.
biggest thing. You know what I mean? It's worth everything.
Yeah.
Because little things that you don't think of that you forgot play out. You know what I mean? They just happen, and you're like,
Mhm.
oh shit. You know
Yeah.
that that would be my biggest thing. Everything it works.
I
It
love
may
that
kind
so much.
yeah. Like it may not all come at once and it doesn't have to, but it's things that you weren't expecting. You know what I mean? Or like, oh damn, yeah. And then it just happens. You're like, yeah, okay. And it's that feeling inside that you get that you're like, man, maybe I am doing something right this time. You know what I mean? Maybe I am. Maybe this was what people were saying. You know what I mean? Maybe this is working. You know?
Mhm.
So that would be my biggest thing that I could say. It does. It does happen no
Mhm.
matter what. It's
Yeah.
worth it.
And I love what you said too, right? Like when you're doing the right thing, like all of those things, it's kind of like a magnetic force, right? Like when you're doing the right things, like the right things start happening around you. But the most important thing, and the thing that you just touched on, is the way that you feel about yourself on the inside, because you
Yeah.
know you're doing the right thing. Like that is priceless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The best feeling ever. You
Yes.
know.
Well, I appreciate you so much, Corey, coming and telling your story today. You did a fantastic job. I personally got to watch a good part of your journey, and I'm so proud of you.
Thank
So,
you so much.
yeah.
I
So, if
really
you,
do. Go ahead.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's okay. Yeah. So, do you want to add any last words before we close?
Oh, put me on the spot. Um, just you know, just I just want to thank you. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm really grateful and honored to be on here. I really appreciate you. You know what I mean? Asking me, it's awesome. I didn't really think this was ever gonna happen. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like I was saying, it just happens. But
Yes.
um, yeah, I don't know. No, you put me on the spot. I'm done.
All
Okay.
right. So I'm going to link Corey's Facebook down below. If you guys want to send him a friend request or see what he's doing on there, I'll link it down below. Thank you so much for doing this with me today. Thank you guys for joining the Hope Shot, and we'll see you back again soon.